Good morning, everyone. One of my signature cell phone videos of my car. Let's see if we can see what we've got here. First of all, let's look at the damage. As you can see, that is what you call a hole in the oil pan. Nice gash. Sucks. Right in front of my oil level sensor there. So there's the problem. You can see it coated, everything. So it was leaking a little bit, but not enough, I think, to do any real damage. So where I'm at right now, I've disconnected the outer ball joint because the only way that some of the things I read said to do the inner ball joint, but you have to use a pickle fork and it tears up the ball joints, and I can't get my tool in there. So I used my special tool on the outer joint so that I wouldn't screw up the joint itself, because these control arms aren't that old. So the other things we've done, we've disconnected our sway bar. That's where my sway bar bushing was. Two 13mm bolts on each side. I've disconnected my sway bar end link, which, if you'll notice, is a wicked solid adjustable. Never wears out. Love it, love it, love it. So anyways, we disconnected those, pulled the sway bar out of the way. And then on my car, I have a triangular underbrace. So it was this bolt, and then two bolts that are right up under. See that bolt that I've screwed in there, right under my control arm bracket? That's the other mounting point, and then there's one on the other side over there. Another important note, when you're working on a car, if you screw the bolts that you take out back into their mounting spots, as long as you can, you will keep from losing those bolts, and then when you're reassembling, it goes much quicker because you don't have to hunt down and look for which bolt goes where. So I do that a lot. I did that with the sway bars, pretty much do that with everything that I can. That's a great little tip. So now what's left is to remove this bolt here and this bolt here, which is what holds my steering rack to the actual subframe, front subframe. And then once that's out of the way, I'll be able to suspend the motor from up top, disconnect the motor mounts, which are right up in there, disconnect those bolts, and then this bolt here, and there's one back there. There's two bolts on each side, actually hold this front subframe in. And this subframe is actually this piece here. It goes up there and runs across the whole length of the car. That will then lower down, which will then give me access to remove the oil pan here, so I can drop it down out of the way and replace it with another one. So that's kind of, and just FYI, to get the sway bar out, brace off, control arms unbolted, and everything out of the way, it took about 45 minutes, so I'm making good time. But I wanted to stop and just kind of show everybody where I'm at and what I'm doing. And these are some of the parts I removed. Here's the sway bar, there's the triangular brace, and this is the tool I used with to remove my my outside joints there. You just compress this nut and it goes like that, and it'll pop it out. One thing, when you're doing this, make sure that you leave the nut loosely tied onto the top. Let me show you. This is something I just found out. I didn't think about it when I did this side, so I may have some problems come time for reassembly. But put the nut loosely on top of the stem, where this right here, the nut, and it goes through that hole. Leave it loose, and that way the tool is pressing down on the nut like that. Loosen it enough so that it can pop free, but if you do that, you won't goober up the threads like I did on this bar here. I think, or this arm, I think I goobered up that thread. So I may have to work it, but the reason I'm not really fooling with it right now is because when the subframe comes out, which again, there's the one bolt, there's the other bolt. When the subframe comes out, this control arm's coming with it, and I can work on it out of the vehicle and shape those threads up and get it back to where it needs to be to get it back in. Some DIYs call for you to remove this first and leave it hang on the spindle right there where that hole where it goes. I didn't do it that way, and again, the reason is the only way that I know to get out the to this joint right here is to put a pickle fork in there and bash the crap out of it. And pickle fork almost always tears this rubber or screws up that joint. And since this is going to lower down out of the way anyways, I figure what the heck, who cares? And you can see, wow, pretty sure my motor mounts are hosed. Interesting to see what they look like when I get it out. You'll notice there's quite a few leaks under here. I already knew that. If y'all remember, I said I was going to do this whole project when it warmed up. Just so happens today it's 50 degrees outside. It's actually 55 degrees outside. Sunny, beautiful day. Got my best friend Bear here with me. He's hanging out, doing his little thing. Hey Bear, what's going on, buddy? So got my dog with me. Got my car up. Oh, one other thing. This is the tool I got to support my engine. It goes across the strut towers. 80 bucks. I want to give a shout out to Martin, Automotive. Gave me this nice oil pan. 50 bucks. Hot tanked it for me, and he even left the oil level sensor in, which I find to be very nice. I like that. I like when people take care of me. Another 38 bucks for a gasket. I thought that's funny. 50 bucks for the oil pan, 38 for the gasket. Almost the same price. And of course, 50 bucks for oil and filter because all that is in my driveway. And then lastly, I have FEQ engine mounts and puppies. 2 of them still waiting to go home. So that's pretty much it. If you see, this is the carnage where my car bled to death. You want to talk about a bad morning? Try pulling back out of your driveway and getting the red oil light, and then you get out of your car, you see that. That's what I call a bad day. It was not fun. Didn't like that at all. But, que sera. So up top, all I have to do is disconnect the motor mounts from up here. I can see the top bolts, so I'm just going to jump those with some long extensions. And I do need to remove, I don't know if you can see it, but right down where my hand is, if you can see my finger, right down in there is the dipstick tube nut. And since the dipstick obviously bolts to the oil pan, that has to come off before the oil pan can come all the way out. Although, I might even be able to drop it with the subframe, but I'm going to go ahead and take it off so I don't get anything snagged. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoy. Pull for me. I'm going to get cranking on the rest after I upload this video so y'all can watch it while I work.